Welcome, everyone, to our final episode of the Arts Academy podcast for this school year. This will be a little bit different today, as most of the stuff that we're going to talk about is not necessarily just for the Arts Academy, and in fact, this is going to be sent out to the whole school. So with us today, we have Mickey Diamond, who's the English coach. We have Mike Ra, who is our vice principal, and Steve Ricciardi, who is the Arts Academy supervisor. And let's go right into our first topic, which is going to be summer enrichment. So, in the past, we've always had a summer English reading assignment and sort of just a little bit of work to do over the summer for English. This year, because of the type of year we've had, because there's obviously going to be some holes in both math and English, some learning loss that happened over the course of the year. We're trying out something new. So everyone in the school, including incoming freshmen, are going to have a summer math and a summer English homework assignment to do over the summer. So I'll start by talking about the math, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Diamond, who can explain a little bit about what the English department is doing. So for math, we're going to break it down a little bit by class, and then again by the course that you have just finished. So all incoming freshmen, we're going to give you a ClassWorks account. And for current freshmen this year, you worked on this platform a little bit, so you kind of know what it's about. But the incoming freshmen, this will be the first time you've seen ClassWorks. You're going to take the universal screener, the first, that first sort of pretest. You're going to take that, and it's going to then, the program will then sort of let you know what the next things that you have to do. We're going to set some goals for you to finish a time goal and a skill goal to finish by the end of the summer. So this is not something you have to work on, every day. You do just a little bit a week, a little bit here and there. Try not to leave it till Labor Day weekend, because then it's going to be really hard to finish up. But, just a little bit of work just to keep your math skills up over the course of the summer. That's what we're looking to do with the freshmen. For everyone else, since classwork is specifically designed for, earlier math topics, we are going to give you an ALEKS account. And again, we haven't really used ALEKS in high tech in a long time. So you might not have ever seen it before. You might have heard of it, some from some of your other friends in other schools. But what ALEKS does is it sort of gives you topics in a specific course, right? So if you just finished Algebra 1 this year, you're going to have an Algebra 1 ALEKS course. Okay. Again, there's an initial assessment. You take the initial assessment. The program will see what you don't know. And then both of these programs are prescriptive. So that means after you take the assessment, it will say, okay, you don't know this topic, this topic, this topic. So those are the topics that you should practice. Again, we are going to have by the end of the summer, we're going to have a topic goal. So you're going to have to finish this many topics, or a percentage goal to complete the course. To ensure that you guys actually do this, your summer homework will be the first grade of the new school year for your math course. So the homework assignment that you're doing all summer will count. It is going to count for something. It is going to count for your next class that you take next year. So it'll be a percentage of your Q1 grade in the fall, right? And for math, we sort of settled on 20% of your Q1 grade. So that pretty much means that if you blow this off, if you don't do it, you're gonna get a 55, right? Our grade low. You're gonna get a 55 for this assignment, and that is pretty much going to not let you get an A for Q1. Okay. And this is not something that we're trying to punish you guys with. It's just a way to be sure that anything that you didn't, that you missed out on this year because of the way classes worked, all the virtual and the hybrid classes, because they were shorter, right? We obviously in math class know that we did not get to everything, and we had to talk about that yesterday with the department. So there is plans to move topics to the next level, but this is a way that we can just be sure that everything that we want you to know going into your next course, you kind of have at least have had a little bit of exposure to it, and just a little practice over the summer. Again, this is not something that you're going to have to do hours and hours a day. Just a little bit of time every week, and you should be able to complete these assignments in 3-4 weeks. We're looking to sort of spread it out over 5 weeks. Again, it is not designed to do over Labor Day weekend, right? As you're going back into school. So that's sort of what our plan was for math. Mickey, you want to take English?
Happily. Hello, folks. So the English department got together and we decided that your summer reading was going to be similar in the sense that we wanted to use it as sort of a diagnostic, and we want to start the year to kind of gauge where you're at so we can plan moving ahead. Given the year that we've had and all the things that you may have had to cope with, we decided against assigning like entire book length works. So each grade has a specific assignment that's surrounded around a couple of shorter readings, and then you have to write an essay for each grade. They're already posted. I don't know if Mr. Ricciardi, if you could throw up that link. I'm going to send out an email through PowerSchool so that everybody gets it, from incoming freshmen to rising seniors. But again, the summer reading is a little lighter than usual. It actually works out. I'm going to say that we planned it, but it wouldn't be entirely true because this new math initiative sounds like it's going to be a good amount of work. And so again, freshmen through seniors, a couple of short readings, and then you're going to write an essay. Each essay has a rubric, and your teachers, while we didn't all agree to the same percentage of grade, it's going to be your first grade for the first marking period. And it's going to be used for your teachers to be able to kind of diagnose where you're headed, where you need a little bit of work. They're mostly argumentative essays, with the exception of seniors. Seniors, your summer reading is essentially summer writing. We're asking you to please work on your college essays and bring a completed, legitimate draft to school on the first day, basically, September 13th. And everyone else, a couple of readings, a couple essays, enough that we think it will be reliably busy and a good indicator of where you're at, but we didn't kind of want to overdo it. And that's us for English. Feels like very light after everything you heard about math. So, good luck.
Yeah, we're definitely trying this out, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully we can see that we can at least eliminate a little bit of the loss that happened over the last year. And if this works out, you can maybe expect this to happen, the next few years as well.
If I can add to that too, it wasn't entirely focused on learning loss or learning interruption. We did examine the idea of math and a more involved English sort of program over the summer, because we have in our programs what's called the pacing guides, and we follow a curriculum. And there are times that, extenuating circumstances, and COVID is probably the greatest example of that, where, but even prior to COVID, where teachers weren't necessarily getting to that last chapter of the book that they wanted to get to, or those last few topics. And then subsequent teachers were spending time at the beginning of the new school year going over. And there's always sort of an element of review, right? But in some cases, it was taking up weeks or the better part of the first marking period. And that's something that we really wanted to work on not doing, so that students could progress more quickly and have an opportunity, and teachers have that opportunity to focus on the content that they were really designed to teach. So part of it is the learning loss due to COVID, but part of it is just also making sure that, these topics stay fresh in your mind, so that when you reach your new teacher, that the new teacher can just sort of hit the ground running. And so that was something that we talked about even pre-COVID. So I do anticipate that this is something that's going to stick around for a while. So if you are a freshman, if you're a sophomore, it's not just something that we're doing as a one-off because of COVID, but it's something that I think is going to be important to the fabric of what we do as a high school going forward, so that really we can provide you with the greatest level of content and the most appropriate level of instruction in any given year. So I just wanted to add that in there too.
No, that's exactly what we were thinking as we started implementing this program.
And Tone, I just want to add, Mickey had mentioned that the assignment we would post it in the notes. We'll put it in the show notes. So for families, students, and their parents, we'll put the assignment, the English assignment, and the math assignment in the show notes. The English assignment is available right now. You guys can go out and get working on that immediately. For the math assignment, you're going to need some follow-up information. For ClassWorks, you're going to need a username and password, which we will provide over the next few weeks. We're still in the process of getting all that loaded into our system so that we can provide it to ClassWorks and they can generate your accounts. And then the same thing for Alex. For any rising sophomore, junior, or senior, you'll get your login information over the next few weeks. The class is starting July 12th, but we would like to get it to you earlier. Hopefully next week. That's what we're pushing for. But again, you can always get started on that English assignment now.
Right. And then take a look. Be on the lookout for an invite to the Google Classroom, because that's sort of how we're going to manage these math courses. So take a look. I'll send those invites out either today or first thing next week.
And even, Tone, take it as the next step. If you're a rising freshman or a rising sophomore, you can email me with any questions. If you're a rising junior or a rising senior, you can email Mr. Gongora with any questions. And again, if you have any English questions, Mr. Diamond is probably the person that you want to reach out to.
All right, so let's jump to the Summer Leap program. Just a couple key dates if you weren't aware of them already. The Summer Leap program for math only starts on June 28th through July 1st, and then the whole district is closed the week of July 4th, right? So that whole week, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the district is closed, so there are no classes meeting at all. Then we start up on July 12th with every course. Okay, so Summer Leap included this year Mr. Diamond's essay writing class. We have a drama class by Miss Murphy. We have a couple classes by Mr. Krinsky, an esports class and a visual effects class. And then there's a sustainability class with Miss Yuha. So all those classes, and you can reach out to the individual teacher if you have some questions about a particular class. Any math questions you can ask me, but all those classes are starting on July 12th, and FunFit as well is starting on July 12th. So there's going to be a lot of students in the building for that week. But the math classes start on the 28th. There will be food, so breakfast and lunch will be provided. There will be transportation. The bus schedule the transportation schedule will be the same. That's up on our website. I'll try to get a more exact summer schedule if something's going to change with that, and I'll put that into the Google Classroom if there's any changes with the bus schedule. But you don't have to worry about food. That's going to be there. The day goes from, you'll show up when your bus drops you off, have breakfast. We'll start class at about 9. It's up to the teacher for, when they're personally. I tend to take a break, 5-10 minute break every, half hour, 45 minutes or so, just because I have to go to the bathroom. So, it's up to the teacher specifically when they want to start and stop. We'll take a break for lunch, 45 minutes or so, and then the school day will end in time to get to the buses by 3 o'clock. So, you're looking at about 2:45 or so to be in class. So it's a long day for math especially, but this will now give you the whole course, and you'll be able to take your next class next year. So that's pretty much all I have for Summer Leap. Mr. Ra, you want to talk a little bit about graduation? But you're muted.
Mike, you're muted.
So this is only really for the seniors out there. We just saw you guys, or you people, yesterday, so this should still be very fresh. But for the parents who are attending, we do have some information that we're going to send out. The students were sent a graduation seating chart. You may have seen it already if you're a parent. We're going to send that out. In addition, I have a few notes that we discussed in our graduation meeting. So we're going to, the students are going to report at 9 a.m. We're going to ask that since everyone is, we anticipate everyone arriving together. So the guest list is 2 guests and the graduate. If you're arriving by car together, we would ask that you drop off the graduate along with 1 guest, if that's possible. And the graduate will walk the guest to the seat, since the graduate knows exactly where they're sitting. The person driving the vehicle then will be asked to drive into the parking garage, which is underneath the school. And then after exiting the vehicle, can find the seat in the audience where the first guest is. So if it's mom and dad, the graduate can walk mom to the seat. Dad can go park the car, and then dad can go walk and meet mom in the audience. And so the way that we have it set up are 275, whatever the number is, pods of seats where it's the graduate seat and 2 guest seats. So that's the way we would like our guests to find their way to their seats. I'm going to email the seating chart anyway, just so that you have an idea of where to sit. We are limited to 2 guests, so please do not bring any additional guests. We will not allow any additional guests on campus. There will be a virtual graduation, which was pre-recorded. We did our recordings already prior, I think, a few weeks ago. In addition to the virtual graduation, there will be a live stream. So you will be able to allow other family members who can't be in attendance to watch live alongside the broadcast. So that's basically the arrival and the start and the viewing procedures that we have. So there's a couple of things that we would ask that the way that the seating with the guests is typically, if you're a guest and you arrive in the audience and the graduates are sitting in a different area, we would ask you not to bring things like balloons or shade umbrellas. I think it's even more important now because you're basically sitting in the audience with the graduate. So please don't bring. I don't anticipate it's going to be very hot. I think it's going to be in the low 80s. It's not the early morning, but it's relatively early, around 10 a.m. So please don't bring any shade umbrellas or any large balloon arrangements. If you could keep those in the car and give them to the graduate afterwards, that would be really helpful. Hold on, excuse me. So after the ceremony, students will be asked to pick up their diplomas. And the picking up of the diplomas happens right outside of the gym, so it's still outside. And then families are free to, greet friends or whatever they're going to do before they make their way to the parking garage and leave campus. So the reason we pick up diplomas after the fact is that because during the ceremony, the diplomas being handed out are just the cases, the fakes, if you will. So I don't know, fellas, did I miss anything? That's pretty much the way we rehearsed it. The students will process in from the interior of the school out to their seats. So, you'll have a nice view of them coming in. We'll go through the ceremony. We have a nice program planned for everybody. And afterwards, you will be officially graduates, the class of 2021 from High Tech High School. So we look forward to it on Monday.
And just to talk about 2 of the things that Mr. Ram mentioned, the virtual video will be emailed to you, as will the link. So I've had a couple parents even this morning that have reached out to me about, where are the links? Where do I find the links? I'm assuming we'll probably put it on the district website, but it will be emailed out to you also. All right, so you'll find it in 2 different spots.
All right, so that's graduation. You want to take scheduling and any updates for that? I think, Mick, you want to talk about a little bit about the AP changes for English?
Yeah. I mean, at least for English, I can't speak to the other APs, but this year, Mr. Rock, feel free to jump in. We initially had our AP Lang and AP Lit sort of threshold for students who wanted to be in, and that was a fairly high threshold because we had limited teachers who could teach that course. But we've consistently had a lot of interest in those courses, and we had a long conversation, and we looked at the numbers of students who wanted to get in and decided that if we could get some other teachers to come on board and teach AP Lang and AP Lit, we could accommodate students. So this year, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rob, but I believe pretty much everybody who requested Lang or Lit was going to be enrolled. So just to go back to your summer reading, when you're looking at your junior summer reading, the assignment's the same. It's an AP Lang assignment. It's just going to be graded differently based on whether you're in AP Lang or not. So, but yeah, so more students will be in. We have now we have Miss Luminoso will be teaching AP Lang and AP Lit with us, along with myself and Mr. Gutman, and the other AP Lang teachers are going to be continue to be Miss Separs, and now we have Miss Garcia and also Miss Luminoso. So we think it's a good move. We think it allows students who are truly interested in the course to be in it. And it's still a college level course. So just a word to the wise for those of you who might have signed up thinking you're throwing a Hail Mary, some seniors will just apply to Harvard just to see what happens. If you requested AP Lang or AP Lit just to see, you're probably in. So double check that you're in. And if you want out, let us know, because the level of rigor does not change just because more students are in it or newer teachers are in those courses. So I'm excited, though. I think it's a great change. And yeah, that's it for at least Lang and Lit.
So I'm going to try and be brief. I just had to come off camera because my dog was outside and the landscaper showed up. So if you hear some buzzing, that's my lawn being trimmed. I would like to further the sentiment that Mr. Diamond was talking about with the Lang and Lit, and really extend that to all of the APs. Really, at this point, any student who requested an AP class, and granted, we don't offer access to AP classes as early as some would like, sophomore year, junior year, but anybody who has elected to take one, junior year, whatever was offered AP Lang, I believe there's a section of AP Seminar, and for the senior AP classes, which encompass all the social studies as well as the sciences, every student, I believe, has been placed if they selected it. So I think that's a good thing. It's a move in a more equitable direction. We've really kind of gotten away from the diagnostic and the placement process. But granted, the reason we're able to do that is because we reduced the number of sections that we ran of things like AP Bio, AP Chemistry, things like that. So it's inclusion, but it's also comes at the expense of capacity too, in some sense. But I think it's a good thing. Anybody who requested one is getting one, and I think that's good. Not in the sense that if you're a sophomore and you wanted an AP class, you were granted one, because we didn't make those available because we just don't have the capacity for that. We talk about that a lot about with the APs and being a career and technical school district, about how much of our resources are devoted to really making sure that the career and technical education is solid, because that's the entire reason why we exist. So it is a little bit more difficult for us in some cases to be able to satisfy that demand. But just in terms of the other scheduling updates, all of these things are moving, albeit with graduation and end of year activities. They've been slowed a little bit, but I anticipate after graduation on Monday will really ramp up. So those who have heard or have been promised to schedule by the end of the school year, that's today, and that's not happening. But I assure you, within the coming weeks, Mr. Ricciardi, Mr. Gongora, Mr. Diamond, myself, and a number of other people, we're going to be working on the schedules to make sure that we can get it done, and hopefully sooner than last year. But we're always sort of tweaking, changing. It's always a fluid process. So we try to improve upon the year before, and this year's no different. So there's a lot of new elements that we created that are really just boring details, but things that have to be worked out before we can hand out schedules. So we continue to work on those things, and if there is information that is available, we will make it available to you. So I know a lot of people want to know what's happening with certain things. If you don't have the information, if it wasn't emailed to you or sent to you or given to you by these podcasts or your counselors, that means it's not ready yet. So I know a lot of people are eager to find certain things out. Is this class going to run? Are these sections going to be available? If you don't have it, it means we don't know yet. And so we'll be working on that. The change I see on the agenda, change of major, we're working on those. The double majors, there's a committee basis for approach for these processes, and they're being handled. in the way that they always are. It takes time. Anybody who submitted a change of major submitted an essay, a portfolio. They have a sending guidance counselor, a receiving guidance counselor, a sending major, and a receiving major, and all of those people have to get together to kind of vet the appropriateness of those changes. So, and then we also have some things that we need to audit and figure out what we're going to do with. So every year there's a different level of demand for courses, right? And a teacher who may have only taught one section 1 year of an elective because only 20 students requested it, in this year may have 120 students requesting it. And that is an actual example of what we don't know what to do with. So a teacher who taught 2 sections of an elective now has a demand for 6 sections of an elective, and that's a full teaching schedule. And that teacher also teaches core classes and not just electives, and can't teach 10 courses or 11 courses in their schedule. So those are the kinds of things that we're working out right now and trying to figure out solutions to, so that everyone does get access to the courses that they requested. But there are going to be some cases, and I'm going to be completely frank with you, where we're working on things right now where we see, okay, we're not going to be able to run this. This is not feasible. We're going to have to go to this group of students and look at their second choice for electives, or even look at their third choice for electives. So that's why we ask you to choose those alternate elective forms, right? So you picked your first choice. Maybe you picked up the 5 choices. We're going to be looking at those alternates over the next few weeks to give you the schedule that you requested in order of your preferences, and really what we're able to do just in terms of our own schedules, what we're actually able to offer you, and try to put those things together. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. I would like to have a summer. Mr. Ricciardi would like to have a summer that doesn't involve scheduling every day. So we're going to work very hard to get these things done. My goal, my hope, is that by the end of July, we have a lot of these, really solid foundations, so that come August, the guidance counselors can come in, reach out to you if there's any last minute tweaks or changes, or hey, have you changed your mind? They can reach out to you and make those adjustments. So yeah, I mean, I said it. It's typically the process where it's done by mid-August, and I'm hoping to be done sooner than that, by the end of July. But it looks like we're pretty much set on the timeline that we're pretty much accustomed to. I know we promised earlier in the past. I'm just telling you right now, it's still a work in progress. So we will get there, though. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Steve, in terms of the scheduling process.
Just some of the things like change of major, double major. I have reached out to a few students, and then their parents have gotten back to me with information. We needed some follow-up information, but everything is a process, right? We have to include the teacher. The teacher has to look at that information depending on what CTE area they're going into. So it just takes time. My son is also playing in the background, so I'm just going to mute my mic and you guys can finish this off a little bit.
Unless anybody has anything else they want to add, I think that'll do it for us. Everybody good?
I think the only other thing I would add is just in the YouTube notes, make sure you look there. You're going to have your English assignment. You're going to have your math assignment. You're going to have your summer bus schedule. We'll get that for you, and that'll be in the show notes. And then we also include the electives. So if there's any issues with electives or maybe a late change of mind, definitely now is the time to reach out to us with all that stuff, because we're going with what's in the PowerSchool system. If you don't have that request in the system, our numbers are going to be off. So if you want to make a new request right now, or you change your mind about a certain elective, by all means, definitely reach out now. And then maybe Mick and Tony, you want to just talk about the journalism digital publishing class right before we get off here?
Sure. So one of our new initiatives for next year was to have a more communication, right? So more communication with the students, with the parents, let everybody know what's going on in each academy. So to help do that, we created a new class, digital journalism, and it's going to primarily focus on making a website for each academy and to fill it up with content of what's going on in the academy, news for the parents, let you guys know sort of what the students are doing in each of the separate academies. And it's going to be all managed and edited by the students as part of their course. Mick, you want anything else for that? Or?
No, I nailed it, Mr. Grigora. Yeah, no, I'm excited to do it. Years back in the old building, back in the day, I used to run the school newspaper called The Laser. When we were the Laser Cats. and that sort of faded out. So it'd be great to bring back some of that kind of journalistic touch with Mr. Gungur's tech skills and obviously our student body's social media skills. So I think we're going to have a good, robust platform that we develop, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, it's going to be cool.
I think one of the things that we we should probably mention is, because it's going to impact some students when they return in September, is that we will have some new faces at the school. We've had some departures in guidance in the child study team. So we also just got a board approval for another child study member to transfer locations and come up. So the students that receive support services, the students that go to their guidance counselor may see a new face or two, depending on which academy you're in. But I just want students to know that same level of care and support will still be there for you. But I just want people to make sure that they are aware that there may be a few changes, as there always are with staff. But that's something I don't want people to come back in September and be surprised about. Hey, why didn't you guys let us know? So that is something that you can probably expect.
And before we leave, we actually had a live question. I think, Mr. Rao, you touched on this already about knowing what electives a student got into is not going to be done until the schedules are all complete.
Yeah. So I don't really know how to answer that question. Nobody is prevented from taking their chosen elective. But so the example I'll give you is that there were 120 requests for forensic science. This year, I think we ran 2 sections for maybe 40 students. And so we operate off the assumption that the demand is going to be very similar from year to year. But that's an example where I can't offer 120 students forensic science, even if it's all of your first choices. I can't give it all to you. So it's things like that will change potentially, and you won't know really until you get the final version of your elective. And there are also some electives that what we call that are referred to what we call singletons, and they're called singletons because they're only offered at one period in the day because it's the only elective of its kind, and that teacher may have 5 other classes to teach. So if you selected 2 electives and each of them are a singleton, and each of those singletons meet at the same time, 5th period, you wouldn't know that when you made your course request. So for example, let's say it's something like intro to film or literature through film and rock and roll. If those 2 electives meet at the same period, and those are the only 2 electives that you chose, you obviously will not get both of them, and you will need to get a different one. We don't know that yet because we didn't do what Mr. Ricciardi likes to refer to as the Tetris puzzle. For those of you who remember the game Tetris, it's making puzzle pieces fit into nice little blocks so that you win the game. So we haven't put those blocks together yet to see where those periods fall. So that's a really long answer to if you want the short version, is that I don't know yet until your final version of your schedule. Once you get the final version of your schedule, that will be the time when you can reach out to your guidance counselor, or your guidance counselor will reach out to you and say, hey, look, you didn't get all of your first choice electives. If you're a senior, you picked 4, maybe you didn't get your top 4. Is this okay with you? Or do you want to go down now to your 5th choice, your 6th choice, your 7th choice, whatever that may be? So I'm not really going to know really until final schedules are ready. And after they're ready and they're presented to you, we'll make it available on PowerSchool. You can look at them. That's when you can start the communication with your counselor to adjust, amend, or change anything that you might need to.
Then we have a couple more. I'll get back to Alex in a second. Are you only offered 1 elective even if you met your requirement, your math? I don't know if...
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
It's on the side. Are you only offered 1 elective even if you've met your math or other classes requirement? I'm not really sure what she's trying to ask there.
That answer is going to be different depending on if you're a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
That's the way they interpret it. If you're a junior, you're only going to be able to replace your 3rd year foreign language with an elective. If you're a senior, then you have the opportunity to select 4 different electives. Again, some of those AP courses are going to be 10 periods. So that's going to be a little bit of a limiting factor in what you can select. But that all depends on if you're a junior or a senior. And again, obviously, freshmen don't have electives and sophomores don't have electives also. So you get 1 elective junior year and you can select up to 4 electives senior year. and
we're
alternatives.
also having the conversation about seniors and their work-based learning and their structured learning experiences. For lack of better terms, they're what we used to refer to as internships and externships, outside of school. And if those things do develop, and it's expected that we will have to develop those rather quickly, but I don't know how mature they will be in the 21-22 school year. But we're also talking about replacing some electives potentially with work-based experiences, and they would have to do with the field of study that that you are pursuing at high tech. So essentially something related to your major. But if it is something that we can set up where you go there from the hours of 1 to 3, or you go there a few days a week, we haven't really developed that yet. But it's a way that those take place of elective courses, and I think that's a beneficial thing, and something that we need to develop further, and something that we need to incorporate. But that's also potential moving forward to reduce the number of forced electives. You don't have to necessarily take classes you don't want to, and now they're using the leaf blower, but not necessarily take the things that you don't want to, but really get experience in a work area for something that you're studying in school.
Go ahead.
The one thing I was going to follow up with is we'll include our email addresses in the show notes also. So if there's anything for students or families, if you happen to be able to watch this podcast on replay later tonight or over the weekend and a question comes up, just shoot the question to whoever you think can answer the question. And then the second part of that is if we can't answer it, we'll get you the answer. So just shoot it out to us. We'll include our emails for that.
Yeah, and then I'll jump back to Alex's question. So how is the summer math assignments going to work with rising seniors who may not have a math class next year? So specifically for you, you would take an Algebra 2 based, because that was your class last year. Your summer assignment would include Algebra 2, and we would still expect you to finish the, to finish the requirement. And you can sort of look at it, you're not taking a math class next year, but you look at it as sort of like an SAT prep, because that's really what the next thing that you are going to need math for. And I'd also ask, why didn't you want to take pre-calc? But,
well, there's a potential that they're juniors in pre-calc or juniors in calc and going to be seniors not taking math. In that case, they wouldn't be taking the Algebra 2, correct?
Right. Specifically, Alex was in my Algebra 2 course. So.
Okay. All right.
And then we'll decide if we're gonna actually put the grade in and to anybody else. But we still really want this is for you. It's to help you. It's not like a punishment or anything. It will help you on your SATs, because that's primarily. The stuff that you covered this year is going to be on that sort of test. I think we can jump down to a few more questions popped in from Jonathan. What year do we take electives? Because your schedule is so full freshman and sophomore year, right? You have the chance. I think Mr. Ricciardi mentioned this, is that you have a chance for a junior elective if you're not taking a language, and then you have a chance for more elective senior year. As your schedule opens up and you finish the math, history requirements, language requirements, things like that. So if you're a freshman or a sophomore, you really don't have room in your schedule. And then our last question here is after school classes for next year for LEAP. I don't think we really talked about that at all.
No, and I wouldn't commit to saying that we will. I mean, we're still always seeking guidance from the local Board of Ed, the state Board of Ed, the state government on what is going to be happening. If everything is as projected and all students are back in and all normal activities can resume, then it's safe to assume that LEAP would be included with that. But we really don't know because we receive new guidance all the time about where we're going to be at in September. So we're just sort of taking it as we get it. So I can't give you a definitive answer on that, but if things go back to normal, then whatever sense of normal that we used to have, then LEAP is obviously going to be a part of that.
I am hopeful that we'll have our Algebra 2 course, and we already have a great teacher lined up who said she wants to do it. So we're hopeful on that.
You're going to do it? You're calling yourself the great teacher who wants to do it?
I'm going to go pick up my kids from kindergarten, so I am going to pass that on to someone else. So I think that's all we have. Just want to finish by saying, have a good summer. Keep an eye out for your invite to your Google Classroom for your summer math assignment, and we'll get more information out to you as soon as we have everything lined up on our end. But one of the big things that we wanted to do with this podcast today was let you know that this was coming, so it's not a shock. But everybody have a great summer. Stay safe out there. Go outside. Enjoy the weather.
Graduates, I'll see you on Monday.
Yep. Graduation should be fun. So we'll see everybody then. And we'll talk to you more over the course of the summer. And we'll see everyone in the school, hopefully in person, next year. Bye.